we're back with the longer version of the news. I couldn't help myself. The source was just blurting out on Saturday so much. I thought, well, record, Brendan, record, and tell your audience as soon as you can. There was no way I could fit this into 15 minutes. It's stellar. So enjoy yourself. I hope you've got a drink of your choice tonight, everyone. And I hope you're ready because I've got slide after slide after slide of quotes from the Media Insider. Yeah, exactly. You get your money's worth with this channel. So it's Wednesday, 27th of August, 2025. And as I said, I've got delicious helpings of primary source blasts. Remember that in history? Primary source. Criticisms, insights, and observations on the chaos within Doctor Who at the present moment. The spin about Doctor Who, the spin about the Sea Devil spin-off, the constant spinning from RTD. It's a bit like the Generation game spinning them plates. And the BBC. Our source, remember, well-connected, high-powered media mover and shaker and producer, gives his take and our panel will offer theirs. A tasty one, I tell you, to come. Well, you do that, check you are subscribed, please. Notifications are on and get that like sent in on the way while you're settling. Thank you very much. Right, let's get the GAN on because it's a tasty one and I think it's good to get the group on, isn't it? So let's kind of say hello to Sci-Fi Chronicles 79. John, hiya.
Hi, mate. How you doing? You all right? Hi, everyone in the chat. Good to see you. And let's listen now to what the source has got to say tonight. It's going to be a tasty one, isn't it?
Well, do you like sauce? I don't even like sauce. Well, yes. Yeah, I know. And you've got, there's Jeremy. You know, you can't change his ways. Look at him. What's he reading now? He's in his own time warp.
Issue 15 of Countdown.
So what year is that? 1972 or something?
No, 1971.
Oh my God! Well, there you go. So,
long time ago.
And it's a quartet tonight. Too many Poms, too many Brits. You all love him. He's one of our children of time. You can't shut him up when he comes on. Here he is, Sonny Waffles. Hiya.
Yes, sir. Captain Sonny Waffles back again. And I finally, here's my Doctor Who hot take. The Green Death is good. I finally finished it. Yay.
And you didn't think it was too much wumbling messaging, as some of the wokesters say.
As soon as the supercomputer came in, I'm like, oh, it's good. They should have. This should have been the whole thing. They started doing AI. Like, that was kind of interesting in today's time, actually. So that book reminded me.
So everybody, this is the show. The Doctor Who strategy has been an absolute disaster. The source, fantastic. Just, hey, I just have to just listen, transcribe and record. It's just a gift. So these are the headlines tonight, everybody. And this is the order we're going to do it in, just so you can, know when, you're window cleaning, house cleaning, doing the ironing, checking on other stuff. Bad RTD and BBC strategy. We're starting with that. Of course we would. Then we look at neglecting the BBC's oversight of Doctor Who. He had stuff to say on that. Then Bad Wolf is their devastated mindset. Get your tissues out for that one. BBC delaying the spin-off until 2026. That's just to confirm that. But I've got to remind you what RTD said before. RTD hypes the brilliant spin-off. Now, we all know that. There's nothing, why would you stay just to listen to me repeat what you've already seen? Well, it's the response from, obviously, the source. Russell Tovey on the inspiring spin-off. And, of course, we get the update from the source about there's no buzz about the spin-off at all. In fact, he says, the BBC doesn't even know it's about. So, just to give you a teaser, lads, just before we kind of get going, because obviously there's so many quotes tonight. Here's one just to kind of get you salivating. He said at one point, talking about the spin-off, well, first of all, the BBC, they don't think it's great. Nobody does.
The words no shit Sherlock come to mind.
That's tough. How are you supposed to sell it to me?
I know, and I do want it to. I do want my Doctor Who, and I do, spin-offs are spin-offs, but I love the Sea Devils. I'm willing it on. I'm no fool. I know it'll be all climate control and da. But when he says the BBC, they don't think it's great. Nobody does. So you think, Right. You made it.
Right? What are we spending our money on?
Yeah. So there's that one, and that's a teaser, everybody. And the second teaser, the neglect in the BBC's oversight. And the source said this: the whole thing has just been a disaster. It's been an absolute disaster. Oh my! I mean, these are media insiders who are judging each other, and they know what you should be up to on quality. Disaster. That's a terrible word to be apportioned to our program.
I'd say it's more of a catastrophe than a disaster. It really is.
I get the hint from this that
Yeah.
he's going scorched earth, RTD. Do you?
I tell you what, media insiders. I didn't even ply him with sauce or drink. I didn't give the sauce any sauce. But it was time to tell, and so that's what I will do tonight if everybody stays around. So of course we will start with the bad RTD and BBC strategy. And if anybody's new to my channel, I do have this sauce, and I never thought I'd say this. And so of course everybody hype. I'm allowed hype. RTD does hype. Everybody's going, who is this sauce?
YouTube is melting with everyone pondering, thinking, sweating over who is the source.
Be allowed to make contact with the source.
Prepare for access to the source.
Therefore, claim rapport with the source so that you may make your judgment.
So basically, tonight is all about my rapport with the source. And he constantly laughs about me calling him the source. I mean, I tell you, it's a gift that keeps. So everybody tonight, this is the evidence from the source just from Saturday. And do send us questions in, everybody, because the source will answer. So the strategy. So lads, let's get going and see what get you going, and I'll keep an eye on the thread at the same time. So on the bad strategy, that is a strategy disaster, Doctor Who. Why did nobody above Bad Wolf say, hang on a second, have you put these new monsters or these new characters in the main series? Are they somehow linked into the main series? So it's a proper spin-off. He doesn't understand how you can do a spin-off when you've not linked it to the main series, John.
Yeah, I mean, again, it shows the high quality intelligence of the guy that was heading everything up, doesn't it? Really, and the interesting thing I would say as well is the fact that, by the sounds of it, you're probably going to get more monsters in this spin-off than you got in the entirety of the Shooty era.
Keep me.
I mean, Jeremy, you've been cynical about this. I mean, it does sound like a very basic error that you don't link it to the main series. The Sea Devils were not in series 1 and 2.
No, I mean the only link is the connection is the Sea Devils and of course Unit, and that's about it. I'm almost tempted to watch it just for fun when it comes on. I mean, it would have been better if they actually put it on at Christmas.
Watch him paint dry, as they always say. I mean, Sonny, over in America, are you getting excited about this? I mean, you see a lot of shows, and you know that you may see shows that have a spin-off. Have you ever heard in America of a show doing a spin-off before the main shows had been a success?
No. I don't think there's a single example of it. But my issue was I'm having trouble. You keep saying spinoff, but I hear the quote and I just see the main series anyway. They're just disconnected villains anyway. And so I'm like, I want to see a spinoff of at least one of those. That should be related to Conrad at the minimum, right? Or go back to Joe. She's married now. I'm sad. Like she shouldn't be doing that. If we're going to go back to the past, do something like that. But no, most things are connected, right? You do one thing, then the next, and you can follow the series in order.
Yeah, well, Peter Tard here. Maybe some early screenings with a control group have been negative, requiring reshoots. We'll come to the delayed bit a bit later. But when you hear that, Peter, my source has a different viewpoint. I do think, lads, that I did think when we heard, the relaunch, the specials, blah, 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 that why did they want to do 5-part spin-off when we didn't even know if the Doctor Who series was going to be a success? And if you don't sow the seeds, and Torchwood did, Torchwood was in season 2, wasn't it? He'd sown the seeds, so in the end, you expected it.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it's two things. One we've said before, the arrogance to actually and the overconfidence to believe that the Shooty era was going to be a success and commission a spin-off before you've even seen how your controversial take on Doctor Who is going to be played out with the audience. So there's that element to it, and then I also think to myself, we did also have a test group for this spin-off, and it was several million people that watched season 1 and 2 of Shooty Doctor Who. So they've had more than enough prep work to figure out actually no one's going to like it. This again, from the images I've seen, if it wasn't a Russell T Davies production, I'd be thinking to myself, okay, it's worth a try. But I told you last year I knew there was going to be a climate change element to it. They've confirmed that now, and it is just going to be absolutely disgusting.
Well, in some ways, I keep thinking how predictable, how kind of
It's kind of generic sci-fi at this point, like climate change as a whole.
Yeah,
I would have just had a plastic island. The plastic island in the Pacific is is the big thing. But yeah, I know what we're going to do. What they might do is that the thing that has been changed from that view to, they've been affected. It's changed their gene pool, and we should feel sorry for them because we're nasty humans. You just know what's going to go on with this.
I'm going to call it now, guys. I think that what's going to happen is you're going to have a creature or that woman creature in the series. You're going to have an element where she says something like, "Oh, you've only got 2 genders. We don't, that's not like us in the ocean." I'm calling it now. Okay, I can see that coming a mile off.
Well, I can see the next source code coming. There we go. So on bad strategy, look. Were they even in the last series? Why would you do a spin-off about a race that hasn't even been in the main show? It's insane. Why would you do that? It's nuts. Can I remind you, this is a media producer saying this. Somebody who does pictures. Somebody who has been successful saying it is insane to do this RTD. I mean, Jeremy, he was supposed to be the safe pair of hands.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to do a spin-off, I'd bring back the Daleks, just to get those extra ratings. But for some reason, he's decided to do it with the Sea Devils. Is it the Silurians coming back in it as well?
Oh no! Stop you encouraging it. No, they are not coming back. They've been ruined anyway in Doctor Who because they've turned into a kind of Star Trek kind of thing.
I say let's go back and do all of it.
I'm glad the Daleks weren't in it to make a spin-off. I know what you mean, a Dalek spin-off. Do the Daleks actually cope with a spin-off? Because I know Terry Nation was desperate to do a spin-off, but we also know Daleks, the ratings normally go down if it's a 6-episode or etc.
Yeah.
I'm glad the Doctor wasn't in it for the last few years as well. That's a blessing on top of the Daleks because I want a Doctor in that series at all.
But Terry Nation's plan was to take the Daleks to America in '68, and by that time, and to do a spin-off.
But it didn't happen, though, did it? And there may be a reason. There may be a reason. So, everybody, you can see on the strategy front here, your peers, a media peer is saying this is insane. BBC to do something with one of your top franchise shows. Remember, they were not going to do a show after Jodie Whittaker. RTD comes back, offers them all these ideas, but it doesn't make any sense to run before you can walk. And this is, in essence, what's happened here.
I mean, I would rather have them done a special, an extra special, rather than a spin-off. And they could have done that.
Yeah, I would have
makes
just
sense.
had, I would have just enjoyed having 5 more episodes, Sonny, than
Right.
actually, slicing and dicing it. I'll bring you in, Sonny, just after David Harding. Moffat called Class a spin-off, but it wasn't either. Other than the Doctor in the first episode, there was no other ties in the main show at all. Torchwood and Sarah Jane spun out of Doctor Who, so there has been a difference, and Class tanked.
Yeah.
When I think of spin-offs, I actually think of like Family Guy and To Cleveland Show. Like it's usually established characters that don't get enough attention, maybe, or we want to take a different story route. Or there's a One Piece Topiko spin-off too, where it's like anime, they do it too all the time. And so they do it. It's not what is it? The classic strategy. This is not typical at all. So it's very weird.
So in other words, John, they've been foolish, risque. They've taken a punt with Doctor Who, and it's just crashed.
Yeah, I mean, just to back up what Sonny was saying just then, I mean, you look at Star Trek, you had the Next Generation, the network was asking for another series, so DS9 came out of it. Then they wanted another series after that, Voyager. Then after that, they wanted another Enterprise. It is driven by success. It's driven by ratings. And again, it goes back to the arrogance of these people that they were running before they could walk. And again, we've talked many a time about the fact that they were so arrogant when they were doing the first promos for season 1 of Shooty, insulting people, being cocky. And then that completely changed when they promoted season 2, because they realized, hang on a minute, season 2 is going to tank because it's just the same, or if not worse than season 1. And we know we've got a spin-off coming that's connected to it all as well. So it's a busted flush before you even get there.
And as you know, my source did actually say in an earlier show about that none of it made sense. I mean, so if anybody's new to our channel, there's loads of source programs, and he's criticised and he's backed up what John's just said there. Mad Mackham, Sunderland's doing well. Thank you. They had to make it before Disney wanted a rebate. But hence there's a delay going on. But anyway, thank you. Obviously, they love their little. Oh, I'm going to give you a treat, Mad Mackham, because you've started our Shonky Chats off. Here's a treat. Good old Doctor Who, as it should be. Thank you very much, Mad Mackham. We do have Shonky Chats available. Garbage is managing the thread as ably as ever. Thank you, Garbage. Remember, Garbage has his own channel. He does my AI, Garbage Who. Check him out. John has his channel, Sci-Fi Chronicles 79. Sonny will tell us about yours in a second. What's yours again called?
It's Sunny Waffles SWP.
Yeah, and Jeremy just has every magazine you want, so basically that's his issue. So on the bad strategy front, the whole point of a spin-off is, you jump from something, you leap from something in the main show into something new. I haven't watched it all, says the Media Insider, because obviously they're bored, but I didn't hear that they were back in any way, shape or form. So this idea of using the Sea Devils is rubbish. I mean, you can see now that's the third paragraph where he has just said, this should not have happened. This should not have been done.
Do they have the data to continue to listen to RTD? He's not making any sense.
He wasn't listening when he was in charge.
And
that, isn't it? Yeah, Disney was trying desperately to tell him the feedback, because Disney are experts.
That's why I'm confused on why we're still going down this rabbit hole with this guy.
Yes, so Yeah, so you can see that the strategy of having a spin-off, kind of spinning out of a main show, but the main show did not introduce any component. Now, I did say to the source, well, there's the unit element and the Kate Stewart element. And of course, if everybody waits for a moment, oh well, slightly scathing about that one. But if I just kind of, so it's all about Kate and unit. If you really think that can sell a series, I'll get your opinions on that in a second. But he continued. It's all been planned before. It's all been written before. And it's all been shot in blocks. And that's the problem. It's all been done in a massive block of content. It's not been done in test and learn. In test and learn, you do one series, you do 6 episodes, and you say, well, that worked well, that didn't. And so you said earlier, John, arrogance. You also have the word that he uses later on as well, neglect. That actually people weren't doing their jobs. They weren't checking the details. They've just thought, oh, we've got RTD back. He seems to know what he's talking about. It's called good PR, let's be honest. He's spun himself into a job. And then the BBC's gone back to their houses in Cornwall and Provence and not bothered to look.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said many a time, there was no oversight because the people that are meant to give oversight to RTD were his friends. So there's a straight away a breakdown in the management structure there, and this is the result. And again, RTD came back. He didn't come back to make a breathtaking series of Doctor Who like he did in. I'll give him credit for the first iteration of RTD. But he didn't come back to do that this time. He came back to be an activist, pure and simple, and that's what we got. And all he did is he used the history of Doctor Who to push that activism, and he had the arrogance to believe that it would get him great success by doing what he did because it's Doctor Who, and it would also push a spin-off as well that would be a success with the activism in it because it's linked to Doctor Who. Now he's found out the hard way, I'm tried to be nice, but I'm going to say this pillock has destroyed a beloved IP, a beloved franchise that so many people adore. So you can go off to your Manchester street parties and do all of that nonsense, but everyone knows that you're nothing but a hack. My calmness has gone of late because of this guy.
I think it happened long before Russell T Davies second time round. I think it was Chris Chibnall that it all kicked in.
There was Chibnall. I will concede that there was Chibnall, but I will say nothing on a level that RTD did. RTD was way beyond it.
Honestly, it's about the same to me. That was all of that stuff is garbage, and it's just as trash.
It's garbage.
It's not worth the ink he printed it on. To be honest with you, any of the Jodie stuff, in my opinion, I can't even think of a good episode. But
I only watched it.
That's the start of it for me. The true desecration. But RTD kind of did a good job, like as in tailoring that stuff to the elites is the only word I can think of.
If I can
do a good job.
Shall I be fair to the BBC in a way and say, look, if you thought you were getting Russell T Davies back, who launched Doctor Who again in 2005 and successfully gave you spin-off shows like Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures, and there was another one, a Monsters one, wasn't there? And then there was Class. He successfully did that for 4 years. So when he says he's willing to come back, you can see where a lazy BBC executive will go, well, this is easy. This is absolutely easy. He'll do the same again. And when he says to you, I'll relaunch Doctor Who, I know it's limping on the ratings after Jodie, I'll sort it. And you know what? On top of that, I'll give you a new spin-off series. Just call it the Whoniverse and I'll give you everything. And they go, yeah, you did it last time. In a way, can we give them... Do you understand?
But I think he took
it a step further. Like he also said, and I'm willing to push this agenda that I'm glad to put it in, right? And they said, oh, we want all of that, right? I all of that plus a step further, which is why they would think he's doing good. Like we should probably just, I don't know.
I'll back Sonny up there because I think the way they ideologically, the way they think at the BBC now It's right within their wheelhouse. I don't give the BBC any pass or free ride whatsoever on this, because I don't care who you are coming in to do a production or whatever job you do, you have oversight. That's what it's there for. You don't let someone have, allegedly $100 million budget plus the additions that the BBC were putting towards him without making sure that there's proper oversight. But they didn't do that. And what happened? It crashed and burned. That's where we are.
I think he probably pitched it to them and said, "Oh, it'll be like 2006, 7, and 8 again," and they thought, "Well, yes, we'll have some of that." And obviously, it was completely different to that.
Yeah, because in a way, Sonny, they were thinking we're getting RTD back, who did all that spin-off stuff and was successful, and we're getting a bigger budget from Disney. It's a win-win-win.
It was easy money for sure.
I mean, this is what I mean. The whole fact that they thought they had all the ducks in a row: money, RTD, the Saviour of Doctor Who, spin-offs, merchandise. I can see what a lazy mind would think.
Yeah, the only part they couldn't predict apparently was people not liking it, which is like, wow.
Which is why when I come back to that quote where obviously a media insider, the source, says, why didn't they do test and learn? Why didn't they do as they did last time? Now,
or what every other TV series do,
Yeah. Torchwood came on the back of the second series of Doctor Who. Now, you could say, well, the spin-off's going to come after the second series of Shooty, but it hasn't been seeded in the program. That's a major, that's a change. As Paul Richards is saying here, it's a colossal waste of money and a huge cock-up.
But I will say that 2005 era, of RTD, when Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures came along, there was clearly an intelligent discussion that had gone on with people where they made sure it was linked up, because they went, right, okay, we want a series that caters to children, so we're going to do the Sarah Jane Adventures, but we also want an adult series that's a spin-off of Doctor Who, so they went the route of Torchwood, and they were successful. If you recall, at the time, Torchwood was so successful they actually had to do a children's cut down version without with the swearing and the adult scenes cut out of it, because the kids wanted to watch Torchwood. That was where, as Sonny was saying a few minutes ago, that's an example of where there's a natural progression from a success of a show. People were crying out for that content. Here we have the example of they pushed forward with a spin-off when people weren't crying out for a spin-off. They weren't even crying out for the next episode.
That's right.
They made us want a bit of Torchwood because of the way he'd cleverly seeded it into the series, with a few different versions of what Torchwood, its origins, and then later on. So it was cleverly done, but this time he did it differently, and the different was foolish. Robert Payne here says, considering all the other BBC output, it's not right to put all the blame on RTD. They're chosen because they agree. I think John was saying a bit like that he's not letting the BBC off the hook at all. And Hartnell's Ghost here, good to see you. I rewatched the 2-part finale with subtitles on. Gosh, you're a glutton. The RTD multiple plot holes still there. Well, you can't. How big do you want the subtitles, Hartnell's Ghost, to hide it? So many unresolved storylines. Susan, that's disgraceful. Yeah, Mrs. Flood, Ruby. Did the BBC not preview this before? Brought it. They were in France. They were in Cornwall. They were. Is there a series? Remember, I should have educated you all by now. You know, they don't watch it. And they don't.
Well, I would say what is so distressing for me is the fact we've got so many wonderful missing episodes, and yet these ones still exist in the archive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we not travel in time and do a swap?
And I do have a future show that will be in News Bites, everybody, because I have listened to people in the thread and people who've written to me on Gmail. I have asked the source plenty of questions, and one of them was about retconning Doctor Who and how possible was that. You know, some people say 2017 and no beyond and blah blah blah. I raised all that, so that's a News Bites coming up. Now, about this, you know, he says, I mean, I remember Knots Landing spinning off from Dallas, and they seeded it in because JR visited Gary Ewing and blah, blah, blah. Every show, the Colbys, and it's got to be done carefully. We've not done it carefully. It's like a man in a hurry. He carries on. A total lack of understanding about what kind of a show they were making because the spin-off seemed so tonally different. Now, Torchwood was different. It was more adult. I mean, John, I think you're being so critical and unfair because now instead of Torchwood, now we're getting CBeebies Doctor Who. I mean, come on, you're getting the differences.
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. We're getting CBeebies Doctor Who that's actually directed at adults as opposed to Sarah Jane Adventures that was directed at kids. That's
John,
the crazy world we're in now.
I think the most frightening thing about that CBeebies series that we're all scoffing about, it might be better than Space Babies.
Yeah.
It might be more adult.
Well, knowing RTD, and again, this is probably one of my far end predictions for this spin-off. How crazy he is! It's going to be about climate change. There'll be a dolphin that just pops up from the ocean at one point, and then a tear rolls down it, you know, like that, to basically say, "What have you done to us, humanity? Look at how much you've littered."
Is he a Sarah Dolphin? No, I don't know. So yes, tonally different. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's clever. Well, of course, you see in the series there. I mean, you see Mallorca, and you see
that was Belinda's
helicopters.
best moment, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it does look quite gritty. I have to say, the look-wise, tonally, it looks all right. And then I just
look like they were forcing Belinda in there to watch the episode by the looks of
moment. That was the greatest thing she's ever done. Get out the way.
But I see what he means about tonally different because, of course, our great treasured main series was going on about, where's Poppy? Where's Poppy? I've lost Poppy. I want to be a dad. You know, it's like, what the hell is this all about? It's like some Jeremy Kyle show gone wrong. They don't need a lie detector test. They don't need a paternity test because the doctor was blubbing about, where's Poppy? I want my Poppy. And I'm going, who the hell's Poppy?
That image there, can I just ask everyone on the panel, everyone in the chat, I mean, that image just screams it's Doctor Who, doesn't it? You know,
yeah, it's
everything about it. It's clearly Doctor Who that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, lock the three of them in there and get rid of the key. Just lock them in there.
Pretty tough.
I mean, there you go. Man in a skirt. DEI's doing very well on the tick front. And they're all going to, it's like Mr. and Mrs. They're going in the soundproof booth, you know, and they ask them questions like, do you know your partner's colour of their toothbrush? And you go, no, I don't, because I've only slept with them for one night. But you know, that sort of thing.
You just need a really overweight unit soldier there on the other side just to fill the quota. And it's all done. You've ticked every box then, you know, it's great.
So yes, there you go. Bad strategy. And it's at the end of season 2. So it's the same formula in 2 seasons of Doctor Who, and then you go flying into the spin-off. As he said, nuts, insane, there's no logic to it. This is not a strategy that was meant to work. Jeremy, is there anything here where you're going, we're being too harsh?
I'm going to give it a chance. I'll watch the first. I don't know how many episodes there are. I don't know how long it's on for. Is it 30 minutes per episode or an hour per episode or?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it might drag.
That all sounds terrible.
You know, when you have a sea devil salivating and saying, gives you another kiss, you know, and I'm getting quite aroused. My fins are getting quite aroused. I mean, I don't know where this is going to go. I mean, really, it could end up being sea devil porn.
I mean, I think there's going to certainly be a strong political angle to it, undoubtedly, and obviously an agenda.
An agenda. Well. We all like an agenda. It's like a new kind of, you know. We must have an agenda. The Rumbles had an agenda. No.
I'll watch one episode and give it a try. I'll force myself.
Well, I mean, this is just it is very tonally different from Doctor Who. Think about it. You've got all these people in suits, all these politicians, all these high-powered people, and all we got was Unit, Vlox, the tea lady, I mean, dancing around a tea trolley. We had Unit hiring 15-year-olds because they feel sorry for them. And then you get high-powered this. Doctor Who was very different to this, clearly.
I mean, I never used to watch the Sarah Jane Adventures. I mean, I watched one or two of them, but I didn't watch them all. And I watched one episode of Torchwood, but I don't know whether I'd watch all of this spin-off or not. I don't know. Maybe one episode.
Do you know what I struggle with? And again, this goes into, it's kind of what you were saying, Sully, before about setting things up to get a spin-off. What I don't understand about this, where RTD every season it's a universe or earth-shattering event where everything's going to die. If you'd done this, for me, if you'd layered it into the season that something was going to happen, it might have made a bit more sense if you had a conflict with sea creatures before the finale, because in the finale, basically everything on the earth is about to, up for stakes. It's in danger, isn't it? Essentially, the reality war. So you're now making us try and think. Well, hang on a minute, that didn't harm anyone in the ocean. You know, now I've never met a sea creature. Maybe one day I will, but I'm pretty sure that if something was coming to the earth that was going to wipe everything out, all of the petty feuds, pretty much you dampen them down and you'd be able to find a resolve. Well, I think already before you even see it, it's kind of diminished what they're trying to do, regardless of the woke nonsense they put in it. It's like,
I mean, there's a shot.
The stakes are lower.
There's a shot I've got here where basically you see, I assume it's there. Let's have a look. I'll get to it. It'll be the last shot. Of course, it'll be the last. You know those kind of whatever they're seeds or something. Now that could have been found during the season 1 or season 2, and so as you say, it's been interlaced in. It doesn't take too much cleverness, you know. It just needs a good script editor who just puts an extra scene in or something, and then it would have made a little bit more sense. As you say, John, the mystery's built up. There's a question in the back of your head. Mind you, John, how many questions is the Doctor Who public supposed to have? Who's Mrs. Flood? Is Susan coming back? Is the Doctor going to turn into Billy? Is the Doctor a man? Is this? How many questions are we supposed to be asking in our head at the same time?
And that's the point entirely. RTD is such a hack now. He's not making the audience ask the right questions or direct them to the right questions. He's filling it with loads of what I call mystery boxes. Oh, we'll tell you down the road, and you never get the resolution to it. Whereas, as you were saying, Brendan, if they'd layered bits in throughout the season and they'd gone, oh, okay, you know, even if you had a standalone story where, you know, you have a sea devil turns up, you know, it all goes awry again, like it did in the 70s, where some stupid human makes a stupid decision and it sets off a chain reaction. You then get the response to that in this spin-off, but you're not even getting that. So again, like the audience, what they did in 2005 and what was clever, they slowly staged bringing in classic Doctor Who to it. So they said, right, the first thing they did was Sarah Jane, effectively. They had a unit in Rose in the first season, but not sparingly. But they said Sarah Jane, then they started building that, and Russell T Davies said this is exactly the same show. What they're doing now is they're effectively going to the audience, like you were saying a few minutes ago, Brendan. You don't know who these species are, so we're going to have to ask you to do the research, and it's very crazily, it's very similar to what Marvel do with their series now. If you go and watch a movie, you have to have watched about 6 other things to figure out what's going on. That's
what's really crazy is, like Robert Payne was saying, he says the war between the whatever. It is so isolated and disconnected from the Doctor Who program that my media insider, the source, every time he talks about this, he goes, what is it? The War of the Worlds, the War of the Fish. What is it? And he just says, what is it? It's that long-winded title, because it's not even a sensible title. You can imagine everybody at the bus stop talking about Doctor Who going, oh, have you seen that? The War Between the Land and the Sea. No, it's a load of blather. It's not even marketable. So, of course, my source was really angered by that. Okay, we plow on because this is just the beginning onslaught. People are joining us. Welcome, one and all. But the show's a big one. We're still wading through the BBC strategy being kaput. You can see where we're going next. Neglecting the BBC oversight. Bad Wolf devastated. Oh, they're all upset apparently. So basically, there's a lot to come. So I'll keep ploughing on. So on the bad strategy front, he then talks about Kate Stewart. She comes into his eyesight. There is no evidence that Kate Stewart has been successful, that the public they've embraced her, that anyone likes the character. I mean, everything from the fan base is that the character's bloody awful and that nobody really wants that character around. It's just whenever she's in it, she talks about her dad, and the new viewers are saying, who the hell was her dad? Every time she's in it. What do you reckon to that, Sonny?
It sounds like I wrote it. I hate Kate Stewart, bro. I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, man, if they're going to do a spinoff, how disrespectful is it that they didn't use the Ruby actor? Because she's in Unit, right? So she's actually part of the show. Why isn't she carrying it? Kate Stewart's the villain. She inoculated all of her soldiers and then turned on. It was crazy in the finale. She's actually the villain.
I think you're being very harsh, you guys, because quite frankly, I'm hearing rumours that the first 2 episodes of the spin-off will be Kate Stewart taking a coach down to the coast, and she's picking up strangers and putting them on the coach and offering them a job in Unit before we get to the major crisis.
She's our solution to all the shoplifting in the UK. I mean,
yeah.
We've got a shoplifting epidemic in Britain, but Kate Stewart's onto it. I mean, I can see a really exciting spin-off about that. I think it's called Crime Watch. I mean, honestly, Jeremy, yet again, when you see this quote, I mean, now, we all like the Brigadier, us of a certain age, etc. But I do see the source's point, because nothing against Redgrave, but the way she's been in Doctor Who quite a long time now, but I don't think she's really established. I don't think she's had an impact. I don't think she's really had much of a role. Maybe in the Zygon inversion.
The character didn't really kind of warm to me, to be honest. And obviously, I prefer the old, the original Brigadier. But I don't know. I'm not keen on the new setup of Unit. I prefer it where it was somewhere in the country. In the country house, and
mind you, don't we all hate working for somebody who they got the job because of their dad or their mum or somebody they knew? And in this, it's nothing against Redgrave. The Kate Stewart character, it's my dad, and you're thinking, do you know what? It would nauseate me. I'd be thinking, how am I going to get promotion when she waffles on about her dad all the time?
I'd rather have a Colonel Blimp type military character like the Brigadier.
Yeah, I mean,
that gives the character, the Doctor character to bounce off on.
John, she should have been sacked by now because she's
gross misconduct.
It's top secret building, and of course it should be highly secure. And Sutek was sat on the TARDIS, and she didn't see it.
Well, just to follow up Jeremy's thought process on that, it's like it shows the quality of this, this unit intelligence by the fact that they put a headquarters right in the center of a populated area and fill it with cages full of alien deadly creatures, which is high intelligence. You wouldn't go to like a country house and lock them away, would you? No, not at all. And Kate Stewart, I've never liked her from the first moment she turned up, in Matt Smith's era. It was just, she's just a token at the end of the day. And it's for me, that last story, the one with the Doctor Light one, where she basically loses her temper and she's like, "Don't you threaten me," and all of that nonsense. She's got nothing of the Brigadier in her at all. The Brigadier was always calm under fire. She's out of control.
But she does have Colonel Ibrahim, and you're missing out on the romance. John, you just can't see the romance of life. They held hands. I mean, they stayed and worked late in Lucky Day. I mean, or was it in Wish World? They all sound the same. Honestly, stayed late and worked with him, and he gave her a cup of tea, maybe more. I mean, honestly,
Colonel Abraham is
romance.
glad the show's canceled. Colonel Abraham dodged a bullet. Let me tell you that.
Yeah,
I missed that bit, so I didn't see it. Didn't see the relationship between her and.
Well, it's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, again, I know it's a sci-fi show, and you've got to have a disbelief in it, but you've also got to have some sort of element of reality. So we're actually to believe that this is a leader who sends people to their deaths when there's some sort of alien threat. That she's not going to send she won't send the guy that she's sleeping with into a battle, will she? So she, from a character perspective, she's already compromised. What we need is, like Mr. Chin from the Third Doctor era to turn up and do an inquiry, because it needs it.
So we've got Julie Coonan here. Good to see everybody join. I'm trying my best to fit you all in. I liked Kate Stewart at the beginning, but she became a symbol of everything terrible about New Who and comes across as quite pathetic. She's supposed to be a strong female character and has let us down. I think of series that used to be pioneering for women, like Prime Suspect with Helen Mirren. Remember when that started? And she had no time for a successful relationship. She was a strong woman in a man's world, that sort of thing. And I'd have preferred that. I know it's a bit more tired now, but instead she's got time for a cup of tea and to fondle and stroke the frame of her dad on the photograph. It's like, oh, for God's sake, start managing. So yes, and obviously her recruitment is awful. So what I've got here is yes, the source got worse. Who the F is her dad? No, now what he said was he does know Doctor Who, but what he said, this is what the BBC should have been saying. Who the F is her dad? What is this show? What's going on? Then the fans are saying, stop talking about your dad every time. They haven't done any social listening. Then there's been no testing because they've not looked at it and said, right, this character, I'm afraid, isn't doing very well. So don't do a spin-off with this character, right? Don't do that. Every single one-on-one creative strategy. Don't do a spin-off starring a character that isn't popular. You're here, Sonny. I mean, we've got the great demographic there. You're turned off this. Sonny's not heard me there. He's turned off me.
Oh, sorry, yeah. It lagged for me. I did miss it. My fault. Yeah, they're not socially listening. I was like, that's what I was getting out of this. It was like, can people finally understand like the BBC is not gonna listen to you? Like, I don't know. I don't think they really care. Like, they use it as a vessel, and until you start voting with your wallet, they're not gonna listen. And from what I've learned, they get their check no matter what. So
yeah, but this is fab when you hear the source say this. So I risk my life when I have my rapport with the source. I do. I have to clean up all the time. So so this is just our kind of opening gambit, but I thought everybody would enjoy that. And of course, it's interesting to hear because she's supposed to be so imbued in the history of Doctor Who that you think she's a prime key character, but she just hasn't kind of grabbed us. And that's the fault of the writers, I know. Bad strategy. This is the last one before we change subject. But my source did say, but it doesn't look as though there's a strategy in RTD's or the BBC's head when they came up with all this, that the spin-off is going to end up being a 3 or 4 series like Torchwood. Why do you take 5 episodes that you could have had more Doctor Who when you're trying to relaunch it, and instead you do a daft spin-off that they're now delaying forever? You've just had 2 seasons of a show where the Doctor's not been in it a lot. And this is, lads, I mean, I'll start with you, John. Millie Gibson left early. Shooty left early. Disney left early. The spin-off that doesn't need anybody, nobody wanted it, has now been delayed. I could go on. And then we raced through these 2 series and we didn't have Shooty in it for the whole 2 series because he was doing something else. This has been an absolute cock-up.
But again, this is the example of arrogance overriding common sense and proper structuring of a production and writing scripts and getting the best caliber of actor for a production in that. It's just incompetence upon incompetence, but laced with arrogance from RTD, Julie Gardner, Jane Tranter, who thought we can do no wrong, we're the bestest ever, you're going to like it, you know, because it's absolutely brilliant. And they always come out at the beginning of each season with RTD, this is the bestest ever, it's going to be a hoot. That's something you would normally say, no, it's not going to be good because you've written it. So sorry, it's done. It's just got to be flush now. That's the last one.
And as Garbage says, thank you, Garbage. Check out his channel, give him a sub. We aren't getting many likes tonight, and the reason is I think I sometimes detect it's when the subject matter's troubling, and although they might agree with us, they're just finding it troubling that this is kind of reminding them of all the bad stuff. And so I'm not liking you, Brendan. I can't like this. I'm so upset. But yeah, I know. I feel your pain, everybody. Okay, then let's cheer up. Sorry, neglecting the BBC's oversight of Doctor Who. Oh, the gift. Yeah, right. Okay, then. Buckle in, everybody. So on this one, he said, the whole thing's been a disaster. I showed you this as the trailer. I mean, can you think... The one positive I can truly think is it was a decent thing to do as an idea to put everything on iPlayer. There's one thing. One thing. Because...
That don't help me at all.
Yeah, no, but I'm a licensed... You know, Sony, you just get on your Disney Channel and shut up.
Well, they haven't put everything on the iPlayer.
No, they haven't.
Well, there's
certain
rights
things
issues.
they've taken off. Yeah, there's rights issues, but also
there are rights issues, aren't there? I mean, quite rightly. But the iPlayer ID is a good one. I mean, you can't control the writer's rights, of course. You have to pay.
But also it also affects the sales of DVDs and Blu-rays, because if it's on iPlayer, some people say, well, I'm not going out and buying the DVD when I can watch it on the iPlayer.
Well, Jeremy, it's a public service, and you could say as a license fee payer, it should be free on our iPlayer.
I mean, we would have all loved something like that years and years ago, but we didn't have it, so we just had to have the repeats occasionally.
Well,
you know?
I think again that's part of the incompetent production and management, really, and the brand management, because as Jeremy was said, that was something we wanted years ago, but they decide to do it when Doctor Who is pretty much at its lowest ebb that it's been since it came back in 2005. On top of that, though, there are other things that they've done which is just complete wasted. They did those stupid Tales of the TARDIS, you know, whatever they were, you know, those ones, and it's like they built sets, they did a production, they filled in ideology from it, they did the colorization of episodes. It's all wastage that could have been used for a prime production of a Doctor Who show and series that wasn't used in the end because they thought this was the golden goose Disney and it was going to go on forever.
Yeah, I did just that, the laziness. Gallifrey Starny. Who pets on my light alarm? Apologies for lateness, but it's your fault. Okay, then. We'll give you something. Yeah, okay.
You said we were alone here, trapped like this, like a sponge beneath the sea. I, Morbius, who once led the High Council of the Time Lords, now reduced to this. Who are you? Where have you come from? You one of the sisterhood?
I thought it was absolutely vital to do this, and I'm so proud of the fact that I deserve an award, and I have problems with her. And lots of us on the production team that I hired only last week had problems with her.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's done to Doctor Who. Thank God he didn't get hold of that goldfish bowl of the brain of Morbius and done a Sutek on it. Thank God. So, disaster it has been. And the source then continued. It's not one thing. It's a whole series. It's a catalogue of oversight errors on Doctor Who. It's the oversight who said, yes, you can do a 5-episode spin-off of characters who've never been seen before, of where the villains, the subject matter has not been reintroduced from the 2 seasons. If they'd introduced the Sea Devils and had them as a huge success and everyone was excited about them and the ratings were great and everything, then you can do a spin-off. Where was the oversight? And it is a balls up. You're not going to get that Disney money back, and you're not going to get it. They've gone away. I mean, they're now hawking themselves around trying to find another streamer who's willing to buy the back catalogue and willing to pay and fund for a new series, but they'll want to bring in their own writers. And of course, it must be very hard trying to sell the last two series as part of the back catalogue, partly because Disney own them too, and partly because nobody wants them. I mean, it's an absolute pants, Sonny, this.
I don't know where they're gonna who it proves to me they can't make Doctor Who. Like, I don't know how they're gonna sell it. They really can't. It wasn't introduced. It wasn't a success. I don't know if it needs oversight, because like it was just a bad idea from RTD. You know, it's like, can we get a good idea first and then work from there?
I mean, Jeremy mentioned a better idea was to maybe doing the Daleks, a Master spin-off. I mean, sometimes I've wondered whether as a spin-off you can do, you know, one of those recurring characters, but it would have been interesting to see an evil spin-off, something like that, where it could dovetail with the series if RTD was clever enough that you've got Doctor Who getting on with his adventures, with the Master maybe appears once. I know he's a gold tooth. I mean, that was a clever idea. And then the gold tooth goes on his adventures to various dentists in the universe. And then now and again, they cross paths. I mean, I'm up for that. That sounds like the Gunfighters, doesn't it? Lots of dentistry.
It's more exciting than the Vindicator. So I'm down for that too. I would have been down for Belinda, even though I hate Belinda. I would have been down for Ruby, even though I don't like Ruby either. But at least she's part of Unit. There was another person I was thinking of too.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of all the people you hate who you would have preferred to watch.
A Conrad spinoff would have been fine. Mrs. Flood spinoff would have been fine. Like, we had a bunch of actors that aren't going to get work anymore.
Well, we had Jack and Ori in the 70s and 80s, and basically that's all Conrad did is Jack and Ori. I mean, just read a story. Bernard Cribbins did it better, and Kenneth Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Was the gold tooth ever resolved?
No.
Thank God it wasn't. No, because honestly, Jeremy, I'm disappointed in you. What do you think? None of us can get a dentist. So I mean, how the hell can they get a dentist to sort out the Master?
I think one of the unit soldiers picked it up and pocketed it. I think probably.
Yeah. So basically,
well, that never made any sense in the beginning, did it? In the 60th, because at the end you've got a woman's hand that takes it right off of the edge of the unit platform. So what the hell did they do? Did they scale the entire tower just to pick up the gold tooth, and then they just abseiled back down? It's like, even his writing then, even at that point, I should have gone to myself, oh shit.
Anybody
this is what we're getting.
Did anybody pick up the scripts and say, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, the rest of us, and anyone who buys a Target book of the two new series, you think that's what you're getting, is a script that has no sense to it.
Yeah. But then RTD, Brendan, he goes, oh yeah, but we're gonna have the toy maker dancing to Spice Girls and lots of flower petals all over the place. And I would have been there like going, you what, mate? What? Sorry, is this a Doctor Who script, or is this some sort of fantasy you had in your sleep last night?
But it's because they've paid. They have paid and used some of the Disney money to pay Kylie Minogue, because in Rogue, you've got Kylie Minogue. I can't get you out of my head. We've paid the Spice Girls. And I'm dare say somewhere, I mean, Murray Gold must have been paid a bomb for Devil's Cord. And on top of that, getting the Strictly Come Dancers in to do in the end, why? No need of money.
It's kind of like the art scene. They're just passing money around, man.
Well, yeah,
It's
exactly.
They're throwing things at it. Throwing things at it and hope that it takes off. That's basically
that's called public servants, especially executives at the top, who basically they're not justifying their job. Now here we've got everybody. We've been too harsh. Sorry, calling you all out. We've all been extremely harsh on this very difficult TV company. I'm sorry, I'm very caring. I mean, I'll prove it to you.
Hello.
Poor
Sorry,
dog.
yeah. I mean, I am caring, but it sometimes goes wrong. Sorry about that. But yes, Bad Wolf are devastated, says my source. All right, he's in meetings and stuff. You know, I could guess that. And John, you've called them arrogant, and you're going to have to wash your mouth out because you're going to be so upset that you said what you said now. Are you ready?
well, can I just say, I love that image of what I call the diversity A team right there. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, the diversity C team.
It looks like a dodgy apprentice series.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a
Here we
mem-
go.
We'll
It's a
stop
mem-
you, Daleks.
it's a memorable photograph for all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons. And so, lads, I don't think you're taking this seriously. Sometimes it's the wrong time to laugh.
Well,
because-
they didn't, so we might as well not.
So this is what my source said. So everybody involved, and particularly Russell and Jane, and you know those guys at the top, they will be devastated. They will be absolutely devastated. Make no mistake about it, Brendan. You know, they are upset about how this has ended up. So John, I need you to give us a chance now for me to video you apologizing and saying, you know, come on. No, as my source said, nobody goes into TV to make rubbish. So come on, they're devastated. So pull back, John, pull back.
Yeah, I mean, all I will say is to the heads at Bad Wolf, cry more. This is manna from heaven for me to hear this. You know, think on your sins.
And Jeremy, while they're devastated, you were devastated. We did a show many months ago when I did a one-to-one chat with you when you said, I'm not going to watch Doctor Who anymore, which I know will have killed you to say and to do.
It did. I mean, if it's your favourite television programme of all time, and you just say, I can't watch it. This is drivel.
Yeah.
Absolute drivel. And it would be the same with like James Bond. I've not watched that last James Bond film because everybody said it was absolute drivel. I read a review of it and I thought, Mamma Mia. I mean, there's no way I could sit there for 3 hours and watch it.
He went ABBA.
Mamma Mia.
But yeah, I mean, so all I'm doing is equalising. If they're devastated, there are an awful lot of Doctor Who fans who are devastated at what's happened and what they've seen and what they've witnessed. Sonny,
I got a question
you
for
came
you.
to Doctor Who a bit later. You are a fan of New Who too. Where do you stand on the devastation front?
It was destroyed with Jodie a long time ago. We're just dancing on its grave. Does this quote implies that Russell and Jane don't know the show's not doing well? Does it imply that they think this is still a success and it's going to be more successful with the spinoff? Is that what this is saying to me?
No, I think he's saying they know. They're not even in the room anymore. They've gone. It's not their job anymore. They know they've ballsed up, and they know there's no hiding place. That's, I think, because we were discussing this, and like I said, future news bites. I think RTD, he's done a lot of interviews recently for Tiptoe, for 10 Years of Cucumber, and you know, he's Icon of the Year and all that nonsense, and Gay Parade in Manchester. He's around and about, and he's doing lots of interviews, and he seems to be writing his own PR. And I think it's because, Sonny, they're no longer there. They'll never say fired, but they haven't got the gig. And now they're devastated because it's on their CV, and everybody has watched this very slow motion car crash.
That's very true. The recent interview I saw with RTD in it, maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, it had to have been at least 2 weeks now, but he didn't even mention Doctor Who as one of his accomplishments. Like, he was like, yeah, I did these kids shows, I did Chuckle something, and I was like, what the hell? He wouldn't even talk about Doctor Who.
It's the old Biddy Baxter saying, they're not fired, darling, they're just no longer working.
Yeah, exactly. I think with this lot, I certainly hope that whoever's above Jane Tranter and Julie Gardner, that they're now looking at it and going, well, hang on a minute, you had a big investment on this, you got an abject failure out of it because you were too arrogant and you pushed ahead with your best friend Russell and created this storm for us. Now things are different. The show's not being commissioned at this moment in time. So, we're going to be keeping a close eye on you going forward.
Well, unfortunately, they don't really work like that. I mean, my source was saying that, yes, it has been a disaster, but they'll get other jobs and they'll keep moving on. He reckons 2 disasters in a row and you'd find it difficult to get work. But Tiptoe will probably be a gay success. He'll make it a success, darling. And before you know it, a Doctor Who will be half forgotten. Chris Chatfield here says, look, lads, on a lighter note, who's going to buy Disney's season 2 of Doctor Who on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
It's a cost of living crisis, Chris. I mean,
there's only so many you can burn.
Oh God, I know, isn't it funny? We all say, Ian Levine, you saved the Daleks from being burned, and becoming a missing episode, and now we want some of the episodes to be missing.
Yeah.
What a turnabout. So there she is. I mean, I can never be personal. I can't do that sort of thing. I actually liked a lot of Bad Wolf's work with Discovery of Witches and all the rest of it. It's actually a shame for everybody, including us, that this has got us where we are. Because the trouble is, once it's done, it's very, very hard to unravel. They have been a bit complacent about this. I think they thought they'd won the lottery, getting the gig. I mean, how can you balls it up? You've got Doctor Who back. You've got Disney money. The BBC aren't checking on us. We've got RTD back. This is easy. And now they're trying to find somebody to buy their Bad Wolf studio space.
It would be nice if they. It'd be nice if they actually just were open and honest, admitted we didn't get it quite right. And I'd accept it. That I'd just say, yeah, you didn't get it quite right. No. That's it.
The thing is, Jeremy, I know what you're saying because we're Doctor Who fans, but of course, what job have you gone for in an interview and said where you ballsed up in the last job, I suppose?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have.
although the truth is, we've all been in job interviews where they say something you've learned from. I mean, there's a way of doing it. I've learned from my Doctor Who series that I can't write Doctor Who. That's what I've learned. So here we go. Bad Wolf mindset. Keep your tissues on hand. I wish sometimes, says my source, fans would try. Now, here we go. Everybody's on a warning. You're on the naughty step, yellow card. I wish sometimes fans, and he is a fan as well, would try and understand that these are real people. And although you might not like the show, and although the show's clearly not worked and clearly needs new leadership, these are still human beings who have tried their best to create a show. And it's obviously time to move on. John, wash your mouth out.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't. After everything that Russell T Davies has done, after everything that Jane Tranter and Julie Gardner have done, and the production where they've actively gone out and attacked fans, in this production block, whether it be Ncuti Gatwa or someone else, I don't subscribe to that at all. I take out of what I'm saying here the people that are working on the sets, the people that are working on practical effects. I don't include them in it. But these people, the higher ups who were involved in it, and Russell T Davies, who came in it to push their ideology, and that was all they were concerned about. I've got no empathy for them whatsoever. He deserves this failure, and I'm glad that he's got it on his record because he needed a loss because he's so arrogant, and he can clear off to Channel 4 and he can do his, tippity toes or whatever he's calling it now, and again, it's a small production on Channel 4. Crack on, but that's not going to repair what you've done to one of the most beloved IPs in the UK, possibly the world.
I don't think he's going to learn anything from it because the people that are around him are saying you're wonderful, you're fantastic,
yeah,
your writing is fantastic. So I'll just say,
find his check.
It was the audience that were wrong, not
me.
Yeah,
we're all hateful people. Yeah,
it was my writing.
I'm waiting for somebody to whisper in his ear. Doesn't he look tired? That kind of thing. David Harding, I get that they're real people, but they need to be. My mouth tonight. They need to be able to hear and accept constructive criticism, and I think John, you were hinting at that, and yeah, quite right. Hey, who's in a job where we don't get criticism? I had 30 kids an hour telling me how rubbish I was. How dare they?
Well, Well, you also, don't forget, this was, remember when someone gave constructive criticism to RTD in season 1 on, what was it, Instagram or on TikTok, and he just told them to F off. That's the mentality of the person you're dealing with. So I've got no sympathy for him. I've got no sympathy for Jane Tranter, Julie Gardner, any of that lot. Phil Collinson. They knew what they were doing. They were arrogant to believe that it was going to be a big success. But yet, as everything that has happened over the last 10 years, where they push this diversity nonsense, it's rejected by the mainstream audience again and again.
Russell,
Jack.
I like the idea that they're not human beings and they're actually Sladines, and RTD is a farting Sladine in his little outfit.
His sip.
But that makes more sense to me than them being human beings.
He was in the office and he went, what?
Now I've got Wolf
Phil got
instead
worried.
saying, when do we get the official announcement that the BBC is looking for a new production company? Look, all I know from that source who trains me on the inside of how this works, there's still 2 years roughly of that contract. So remember, they can't officially say anything because officially Disney's still in prime position. Officially, legally, RTD's still the showrunner. So you've got 2 years to just wait for the grass and the weeds to grow. They can do nudge, nudge, wink, wink meetings and chit chats, but honestly, that's why nothing's going to happen for years, because you can't, when there's a contract, unless somebody buys themselves out of it, you can't suddenly talk to somebody else. So unfortunately, Wolf, instead, I know you're wanting us to move on, but actually it's not possible, not legally. And why would Disney pay themselves out of a disaster? It's a disaster already. Why pay more money after bad? It's not worth it.
I mean, unless they come to a mutual agreement before the contract expires naturally, which is possible.
I mean, again, financially, it's more a hit for Disney, because like an impact for them, because Disney at this moment in time, what are Disney getting? Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Disney. Disney are probably the wokest company on the planet, but Disney, what are they getting out of it? At most they probably sell one box set from the spin-off. That's how bad it is. It's going to be another Disney Plus series that they will dump all in one go on a Friday, similar to what they did with a couple of the Marvel series, and it'll just be done, out of the way, let's move on, our part is done with it. That's what they're going to do.
I'm interested. Sorry. Douglas Brown in here. It's interesting, isn't it? RTD was always overrated. Moffat, Gatiss, Pete Harness and Paul Cornell were the best writers on New Who. Rob Shearman, there's loads of them. Do you know what? That is the big strategy question after these 2 series, etc. Why has he not gone for more accomplished writers who have a track record in Doctor Who and maybe in the early days of Big Finish? Why has he not? Is that because he doesn't like anybody who kind of overshadows him? Is that because he likes to mold these rogue writers from a different genre? Inaya Ellams, who basically is trying to, do a cultural story in a poem. Is it because of that sort of thing? That's a good question, I have to say, and I think you're right. You judge somebody by they have people in the room with them who are as accomplished as them, who are better than them, and they can live with it. I don't think RTD can live with it.
He wants activists. That's what he wants. He wants activists that think exactly the same way as him. It's not just the writers. I mean, he brought in the 2 producers from the Loki series who are activists as well and think exactly the same as him. So that's it. He's not prepared to bring someone in that thinks differently to him ideologically. And that, I've said before, that is when you get great series, because you have clashes in the writing room. You have people disagreeing on things, and then something great is made out of it. Now everybody is saying, oh yes, that's brilliant, Russell. Brilliant. Let's do it.
If his writing was pitch perfect from day one, there would be no question of them saying, any criticism. because the script would just be produced. But obviously, quite clearly, people have just been agreeing with him, whatever drivel he's been writing, and this is where we're at now, at the moment. But you know,
So here we go. Here we go. Carry on the source front. I mean, TARDIS cam. Remember them TARDIS cams? I mean,
a long
that
time
just
ago,
looked like
yeah.
real Doctor Who.
Looks like City of Death, doesn't it? A bit.
Yeah.
It does, and it just gets you all feeling nostalgic. And yes, City of Death. Me and John did a deep dive of season 17, and that was just fun. It was enjoyable. That's all we want as Doctor Who fans. Now, I saw earlier, I think it was Savage Grace who said, "Is it delayed?" Well, yeah. BBC delayed the spin-off until 2026. It was said in a kind of roundabout way, so I'll just show you for a second, just so you're up to date, everybody. But basically, we're at the Edinburgh Television Festival, and the newly appointed director of content, Kate Phillips, said, when asked about Doctor Who, rest assured it's going nowhere. Well, we all know about that. Disney has been a great partnership, and it continues with the war between the land and the sea next year. And that's taken in a nutshell that is 2026. And I just want to remind everybody, if they do have the Doctor Who magazine, I know some of you have stopped buying it, number 607, in that RTD gives a very strong hint that the spin-off was going to be in 2025. Just like everything else, Shooty was supposed to do more than 2 seasons. He bought himself out of the contract. Millie should have been in more. Blah, blah, blah. So many things have gone wrong with this production, and this is another one. I know people in the thread were saying, is the delay because of this, because of that, because of the other? We've all got our theories, but Doctor Who Magazine 607, he was hinting it was going to be out earlier.
Can I just say, for small mercies, thank goodness we didn't get the 2 shooties special, because that would have been too much.
There you go. I'll haunt you even more. There you go.
I need
Oh, dear.
explicit warning next time. When you flashed that the first time, I was like, holy, I need a warning.
Right, well, here you go, Sonny. I'm giving you a warning now. Here.
Give me the loving.
Now give me
Access denied.
There you go.
Disgusting.
That's less camp than what we got.
Now, if that was getting you salivating and getting angry earlier, we have had nothing yet. I do better hype than RTD. RTD hyped the brilliant spin-off, and I'm sure you've seen on various streams, not just mine, that he said various things. So I will rattle through this, because obviously it's what the source said in response. He said, the spin-off is even better than we thought it was, which I always think sounds so weird, which is what you thought it was crap. Anyway, so better than we thought it was. There you go. Beautiful shots. I'm just giving you shots. And then he says, it's absolutely brilliant. I'm immensely proud of it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's like we had a good idea. Yeah, we found one. And then he says, we did a really good job. Sometimes they go through post-production when everything comes in. You work on the effects, on the music and the grading of it. Sometimes magic happens, darling. And it's happening with this. It's even better than we thought it was. And I'm delighted with it. And he goes on at one point to say it's almost one of the best things he's ever made. So basically, that's what we were told by RTD, who never lies. Okay? And so if I just show you, my source obviously got going on this. Oh, well, that's great PR. I mean, it sounds very exciting. I think that's politics, isn't it? I mean, he has to say something. He has to say it's fantastic. He can't say it's dreadful. What else is he going to say? He wants to work for the BBC again. Bad Wolf? He's employed at Bad Wolf. He still has to do the PR. I mean, you know what's what. That's what they're going to say. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're being cynical, aren't we now, John?
Yeah, we are a tad. I mean, with the PR element, all I'm going to say to everybody is just keep watching, because he is going to do the bare minimum PR for this spin-off as possible. he, instead of being at a certain event, where was he? He was at his Cucumber 10-year anniversary, celebrating it. You know, so that speaks to me that he knows he's done. He can't be bothered to promote it properly anymore. So you won't see him turning up at the events, I'm sure. Now you'll just see him put a quote out going, "Oh, it's going to be an absolute hoot, this one. You'll love it." It's, you know, you thought season 2 of Shooty Who was good. Cool, you haven't seen nothing yet. You just wait until they throw the litter back at the humans. You're going to love it.
Jeremy, are you feeling equally cynical about this?
Given RT2's track record over the last 2 years, yes, I would say so. But I will give it a watch whenever it's on, sometime in the near distant future, or you know, at the appropriate time, whenever.
If we're all still alive, Sonny, I mean, honestly, you have to wait so long for these things half the time.
Probably I'll watch it when I'm about 65. I think.
You only have to wait so long because they don't know what they're doing. They're still trying to patch together a story, I'm sure. But if it was really good, you know, you don't say, guys, donate money to the show. It's going to be really good. I swear. It's really great. No, you say it's good because the drama is good. We have Shonky chats. It's good because I have a source, right? You're like, hey, here's some reasons it's good, not the political answer. Well, it's good because it's amazing and it's better than I thought it was, which had no expectation anyway. It's going to be so good. Just donate money. Throw some more money my way. It'll be really good, I swear.
Now, so the response continues, and just bite away, lads, at the bits that you want to argue with, agree with, whatever. So basically he said, most executive... Now, he's been an executive producer, so let me just remind you. Most executive producers don't say things like this. You know, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in my career. They let other people decide that. So this is very unusual thing to say. Most people would not say that because you do work that you're proud of. If you're a director, you can say that. So he was quite clear on, you know, how the hierarchy works. And, you know, if you're the showrunner, let other people create a buzz. If you create the buzz yourself, is that a sign of desperation?
Artificial buzz.
Well, he always does create a buzz, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing ever, and you know, blah 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 blah. And you think,
Buzz off.
yeah,
Buzz off.
Do you know what? I want them to do like those classic American movie trailers for this spin-off, and it's going, from the man who brought you Space Babies.
Yeah.
Brings you war between the land and the sea.
Yeah, you had a bad smell, a bad odor, and a bad smell in Space Babies. It's back, and it's all over the planet. It's stinking. It's a climate mess.
From the man who put a doctor in a skirt, I bring you.
you had to get that actor back again. He played Zor.
Yeah.
Space Babies.
So Douglas Browning, Sensory was getting hints, knew who was going into flames when the Jodie episodes had Chris Noth playing. The Trump and the Rosa Parks. As an American, I'm still wondering why a UK sci-fi show would do that. Because we're patronising. This is why, well, the BBC are. They patronise us, by the way, Douglas. I hope you weren't too affronted at their politics back at you. But yeah, good old BBC like to tell us how to live. We used to call them auntie in a kind of slightly loving way, but now it's not auntie. It's like she's like bloody super nanny. You know, they really tell you what to do. You sit us on the naughty steps. Some of us voted the wrong way. Some of us are nasty people. Whoa. And you know, so sorry about that, because I know what you're saying. You've got to enjoy their messaging.
And the Overton window is shifting in the UK as well, and they don't like it.
Mind you, I don't understand this Overton window thing. I keep thinking, is this play school? Which window is this? Am I going through it? What's going on?
Well, we can figure that one out, can't we? You know, we're clearly going the other window at the moment.
I always wanted in play school, you know, instead of going through the window, that a brick came through the window back. Yeah, we're in a rough part of London. Zach Whitten, if the Disney contract doesn't expire for 2 years, correct, it makes sense that they delayed war between... Now, Zach Whitten, well done. There you go. Should we do patronise? No. Well done. To help fill the gap. My source does have a theory on this, and one of the theories is that if you think we're going to wait years to possibly get a new streamer now, and then pre-production, then they produce another year, another 2 years. It's filmed and all the rest of it. And then just before a new season 3 or a new version of Doctor Who, they might put that one out. That was one theory he had. He wondered whether they'd wait for longer and longer and longer. But yeah, it just shows you. But you're onto the right track, I think, Zach Whitten there. I do.
That's nonsense, though, isn't it? Because that's the equivalent of saying, we know, sir, that you're here waiting for your 5-course meal at our restaurant, but it's not quite ready yet. So we're going to give you elephant dung to eat while we wait for your meal to be ready. That's the equivalent of what they're doing with this, if that's the case.
Yeah, well, David Harding's saying the right thing. It's a question I asked the source, and I think I've got the answer coming in a minute. If it's so great, why wait to air it?
Yeah,
remember David Harding, my first slide tonight? Nobody at the BBC believes it. So, hello.
I mean, you've got Christmas coming up in a few months' time, and that would be the best time to get the maximum ratings.
Well,
and put everyone off their dinner.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends how good it is. If it's very good, then it might pick up some ratings. But where are they going to show it? BBC 3? It's not going to get.
I don't think they're there now. It's not worth the money to do that. So, the source also said, you could say, I'm really proud of this. I think it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. But as a showrunner, my view is that you allow other people to decide whether or not a series is great. You could be really pleased with it, but I think this is just a lot of politics. It feels like a legacy, but I get the impression he might have left, and that's still his project, of course. And he obviously wants to say all the right things about it. So that's kind of what's going on there. And he's reaching for the stars. He's trying to find the ratings. That's what he's doing there. And if he's proud of it, amazing. It doesn't mean fans are going to watch it. It doesn't mean anyone's going to care. It's clearly all been set up to fail because it's not even called Doctor Who. What do you think of that one? Because Torchwood was an anagram. Sarah Jane was so linked to Classic Who, and she had been in the main series, so that made sense. But actually, he said they won't even call it Doctor Who. They seem not proud of it.
Distancing themselves.
Yeah. I thought it was Sabotage from the beginning.
Yeah.
But basically from season 1 with the David Tennant specials. They've been actively sabotaging themselves more so than usual. The BBC has always been iffy with time slots, sabotaging Doctor Who that way and messing with the actors or whatever, but I don't know, this is obviously a lot worse.
Shows where the brand is at the moment, though, because I've got no evidence to support it, but I would say that's probably a push from Disney to basically say, well, we're putting it on our platform. We don't want any mention of Doctor Who to be on it at all. We just want to put it out as a new sci-fi show called limited series called The War Between the Land and the Sea, and then go from there. That's what I think has happened.
Mind
here.
you, sorry, Jeremy. If everybody goes back through all the Doctor Who magazines since 2023, hello, yes, I'm a nerd, you will find that RTD, at one point he said it's an 8-word title. And he was doing all that playing with us for ages. It's all. Do you know what, John? It's shocking. Since the beginning, it was going to be called this. So they've always thought,
they still would have branded it, though, wouldn't they?
Well, we said the strategy seemed wrong, that they didn't launch it properly in the main show, blah, 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 blah. This is another example of them just getting so smug that they could just do it without doing all the common sense stuff.
Yeah. I think, am I correct? Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only reference we got in the Shooty series in season 1 was when he did that, the How Many Yards episode where he mentions the war between the land and the sea, doesn't he, on the cliff top? That's it. That's the only reference you get. That's it to a spin-off.
I didn't even watch that episode.
You didn't miss anything, mate.
I didn't watch it either.
me and Brendan are still in therapy.
So
I just listened to all the reviews. I felt like I'd watched it though by the end of it.
So as I show you what the source says about RTD letting down the BBC, he does say, Everybody knows it, but let these people, let Russell have his PR. Let him say this is the greatest thing he's ever done. Let him say these things. It's almost like somebody who's kind of in like Dame Edna used to say, in a home for the bewildered. Let them believe what they believe. But basically, we all know. Shh, we all know. And that's like a kindness, as they say, because he's a human being and he has a career, and he's obviously trying to make sure that he says the right things in the right places, and he probably believes that. And if it is the greatest thing he's ever done, fantastic, congratulations, because I know how difficult it is to create something and for it to land. So if he wants to believe that, you go and believe that, son, but the rest of us know the truth. Jess Corbin here, Brendan the Sense Sphere panel, and of course chat, thanks for another great session. It's good to see you again. Thank you for joining us. Now it gets tasty again, because obviously he does think that RTD has let down us and Doctor Who. So here we go with more source material. Okay, here we continue on. So let's just rock and roll. So letting down the BBC, all RTD's fault here. There's been no creative oversight, clearly, because nobody has had a day of experience on creative strategy would ever sign that off. Never in a million years would you sign that off unless there was an absolute panic and also a blind faith that this person, just let them do whatever they want and it will be amazing. Just give them the budget, it will be amazing. I mean, do you recognise this version of the BBC, John? I mean, they really are saying, here's a load of money, get on with it, can't be bothered to check, can't be bothered to do due diligence. If they are paying a script editor, I'm absolutely appalled, because it just seems to me, from head of creativity, from the head of content, nobody's asking one question.
No, and again, it's what I said earlier in the show, that it's a lack of oversight. It's a lack of management holding people's feet to the fire. I've said before, I don't even work in the industry, but I'm pretty sure if I did, I would be saying to people beneath me and who were producing stuff for me, right, I want to see the dailies. I want to see what you're doing on scripts on a regular basis. I want to see what's going on with the production. I would literally want to be involved in every element of it, because at the end of the day, if it goes wrong, it's my head on the block, but these people didn't do any of that by the sounds of it. They just let, blind faith in RTD. Don't worry, it's going to be all right. I mean, that says a lot actually about Julie Gardner and Jane Tranter, to be honest, and Phil Collinson, because if they're not gonna have proper oversight of people, there must be people higher ups at certain production companies that are thinking, hang on a minute, we've got concerns here. That's a massive red flag.
I know, but John, imagine the money they're on. I mean, the head of creative content might be on about 450 or 500 grand, and they're not doing their job. We're talking about money just going down the gutter. We know in our country, in lots of things, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? It's getting wasted on fat cats who aren't doing the basics. How many of us would? What a job to actually be in charge of BBC content, and you're not a nasty piece of work, but you'd be curious. You'd ask questions. You'd want to know what's going on. Whatever level of management we've all been in, you set a deadline and then you have a mini deadline before then. You check up, you keep an eye, you do a quality sample. When I was a Malteser inspector, you do a quality sample of the Maltesers. Are the Maltesers naked? Are the Maltesers in an orgy, all squashed together? I mean, are there crackpots? I mean, it checks on the quality of the Maltesers. Thank you.
I agree. I just quickly want to come in. Mr. Squinty Mints put a comment in, and I agree to disagree on that one, because because essentially that's the whole point of having oversight, but it's being the intelligent person that steps in at the right time when it is needed due to their experience in the industry. If you see everything is going to complete rubbish, you don't just sit there and just let the ship sink. You literally step in and you get involved and you say, right, we need to get this back on track. But none of that was happening. None of it.
It's partly because we were told, John, that the people higher up don't watch Doctor Who, aren't interested in Doctor Who, don't like sci-fi. So why would they check on RTD when it looked as though he was good at Doctor Who before? You can see why their head was turned elsewhere.
Yeah.
And
Madness.
we all know how the public service works. When something goes wrong, does the top person say, sorry, I should have been checking on it? No, they sack the person below them. That's what they do.
I mean, in the classic era, this wouldn't have happened. This scenario just would not have happened.
No.
Because they actually had
Like Barry Letts or someone like that, you know.
Well, Barry Letts
actually
was the
people checking things.
Barry Letts was the executive producer on John Nathan Turner's first year to make sure that everything was all right, and he didn't. I don't think he involved himself too much in it because he said, "Yeah, it's all right."
Yeah.
But has there been too much care and compassion of late? Because let's face it, we know Doctor Who producers that were sacked and moved on. We know Colin Baker was moved on. You know, it was a bit more cutthroat in the past, it seemed to me. Now we let the actor waltz away first and leave them.
Well, they're not
Twice
sacked.
in these quotes.
They're not sacked. They just let them go.
Well, twice in these quotes, he called RTD a human being. Human beings can be evil. Human beings do evil things. He could be embezzling money. I'm not saying he is, but he could be. That just because he's a human being doesn't mean we give him the right to do that.
No, I'm sorry, Sonny. I'm sorry, Sonny. This is getting dangerous. You're sounding like the first version of Davros there, mate. You're sounding like Davros, you know. And you know RTD replaced Davros because he was dangerous.
Yes, we can't. You know, why have Davros when you could have a space baby? There you go. So he continues, does my source. He goes, I can get them thinking, you know, in their idiotic heads, thinking you're going to do a Whoniverse, you're going to have lots of spin-offs, and we're going to make lots of money. Go on, and you go. Yeah, they didn't know. Look, they don't know. And as he says, in the BBC mindset, they've just let him waffle on about all that stuff, and it's taken us nowhere. RTD, when they ask him to come back, or however it was pitched, has actually said, let's take 20% of the budget and put it on a spin-off, when surely the BBC was saying, can you please just do lots of Doctor Who and make it successful? That's such a simple question. Please, can you just do 2 series of Doctor Who and a few specials and just make it work? I don't care about this spin-off. Sea Devils, I've never heard of them. Salarians, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you just do Doctor Who, please? Thank you, because I need to get on a plane back to France. Thank you. I mean, end of. Easy. As he continued, they just say, go and just do what you did. Just make it good. At this point, they were so exhausted with the show and the negativity. And remember, Jodie Whittaker was just going to regenerate, and that was going to be the end. And so, of course, you can imagine when suddenly their best friend appears, she was going to go off behind a hill on that thing, and that was the end. It wasn't coming back. And then Russell contacted the BBC and said, do you want me to bring it back? And they said, oh, and they all got really excited, and they didn't ask another question. I mean, there you go, Jeremy, the great public service.
Yeah. And that's probably how the scenario was, and probably people were saying to Russell, you know, why don't you go back and produce it, you know, and do something with it. Unfortunately, it didn't do it the right way.
Solstice Dawn here. All this is supposing that those who are overseeing BBC projects have the ability to criticise the amount of diversity inclusion in the programme. Solstice Dawn on that front, the source did say to me that if you did try and sack RTD for his trans inclusion or something, he could have had them. And yes, so it is complicated. How do you get rid of him? You're going to have to just, well, imagine, you can blame the ratings. That's easy enough. The ratings were bad enough.
That would be justification. We're doing literally the lowest in history on any metric, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, he does think that the RTD's almost, I mean, God, he's almost acting like a spiv. He's actually been like a Del boy. He has seen the BBC and Disney's money, and he's gone, I can sort it out. We all want to believe, you know, have some self-confidence, but by God, he's really gone for it. And he's splundered that money. We're not getting it back. He's wasted the chance to relaunch Doctor Who with money. Not that I actually care about that. I'm quite happy with Horror Fan Rock. But if you want to make it look tasty, you go for it, because some people like to make it look tasty. But I'm just shocked that it's ended up where it was, because so many people have actually got no interest in Doctor Who. And when we do countless discussions about RTD saying Sutek for the older fans and Omega and all this stuff, Susan, and you're thinking, just get it right. I wasn't asking for Susan back. I wasn't asking for Omega back. I wasn't asking for Sutek back. I was asking for Doctor Who back. That's all.
Yeah, and I think the audience got Doctor Who back, right? We definitely got it back for 2 more seasons, and I'm not saying I'm happy with it. Obviously, I'm not. But if we just keep getting 8 episodes a season of just garbage, I don't know. I don't think I would complain that much, because we can critique it and be like, yeah, it ended with Jodie a long time ago anyway. But at least we're getting Doctor Who. At least he's making Doctor Who. He's not even doing that now. He's making the spinoff, right?
Yeah, and as I learned from the source, remember, RTD's been paid twice. Bad Wolf were paid twice. They've made an awful lot of money out of this disaster because, of course, they were given the contract in the first place with Disney and BBC, and then Sony bought out Bad Wolf. They got paid twice for this. They've done all right.
I don't think they actually brought back Doctor Who, actual Doctor Who. They brought back a copy of it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
The real Doctor Who is back on Earth with Donna Noble.
Hey, depending on who you ask, The Well was the real Doctor Who. People liked The Well, so
yeah, I didn't watch it, so I can't comment on it. But
I like various bits. I liked the beginning of Lux, just the beginning.
Yeah, Lux was
not
pretty.
I mean, you know, it's not high stakes, but it was okay.
No, at all.
There was nothing Doctor Who in it for me whatsoever. The only thing that I saw that was Doctor Who related was a police box. Everything else was just a mutated version of what was once a wonderful show.
I like Blue Yonder, but a lot of people didn't like it. But it felt to me a bit more like real Doctor Who, except there were certain references that took me out of it.
Yeah, and it was a way. I mean, it was just, and as you know, Wild Blue Yonder is what served us up this Mavity fantasy nonsense ever since. So I blame Wild Blue Yonder for everything.
Well,
Mavity, I heard
RTD2.
I heard RTD2 approached the BBC to pitch the 60th anniversary specials only, but they asked him to be a showrunner. That was the ambush. He got his feet under the table. And of course, when they ambushed him and said, "Oh God, can you do more? We've got Disney now." And then, of course, he said, "I've got so many ideas, darling. Do you want Sutek back? Do you want Omega back? The anorexic version? There's a story there. Do you want Susan back? I'll take you back to the beginning. I'm a story machine, darling." Wow. I mean, honestly, this man has so many ideas. Remember that Imagine documentary when he said to Alan Yentob, "Oh, I was just brushing my teeth this morning. I came up with another idea. That'll have been the gold tooth. That'll have been the gold tooth. I've thought of the master being the tooth." Yeah, I know. Stop brushing your teeth, RTD. It's become a problem.
Well, it's like even just like what Robert Payne's just said in the chat about the fact that, you know, he had the previous Doctor still alive with that nonsense by generation defending Donna Noble's garden. And again, we all thought it. We all talked about it at the time because we were like, well, hang on a minute. In the finale with Sutek, you're honestly telling me that Doctor would still just sit in the garden and eat cucumber sandwiches. He wouldn't get involved. So before you've even moved into the series, you've got a massive plot hole there. And what is it he said at some point? I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "Oh, he tripped up and died off world." You know, that's what I mean. He came back for activism. He didn't come back to make a good sci-fi series. He didn't do that.
Yeah,
I'd like to say in my defense, Blue Yonder is not perfect, but it just felt a little bit more like Doctor Who to me.
That's it. You're on the road to hate, mate. Join us.
This is more like Doctor Who. This is the real Doctor Who.
I understand you've lost a couple of scientists. Oh no.
What's wrong? It's Gooch. It's Gooch.
Look for yourself.
Which must have left in quite a hurry.
Yes. Yes, he must.
Yes, he certainly must.
know what I
I
just
got the fart jokes in there, not because I'm lowbrow. I was on the level with RTD because in 2005, didn't we have a burp in a wheelie bin? We had fart in Slovene. That was the level of it. When everyone says that was the great era, I hated those moments. I did. I loved the Eccleston era, but those moments I still can't forgive.
Yeah.
hot take. I didn't like the Bad Wolf saga. Like the words going everywhere. I was like, this is dumb. This was like okay. I like the characters, but like what we're doing is really dumb.
Anyway,
always remember that World War III Slovene story. Even then, I thought to myself, "Oh, those effects are pretty ropey." When the Slovene are running through the corridors.
yes, I do remember that.
But in defense of it, the ratings were very good and the series took off. So,
well, they also were starving for Doctor Who at the time.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, Russell Tovey, you see, it's not just RTD. Russell Tovey says it's an inspiring spin-off. And of course, he went on about exactly what you don't want it to talk about, John, and me and you. Climate change has been a huge factor. He then said you can expect heart palpitations, you can expect love. Again, I keep coming back to that. This guy loves his life, loves his family. And all right, go on an adventure, for God's sake. Doctor Who fans, we didn't want all the lovey-dovey stuff. We wanted somebody who was bored with their life, who wants to wander in the TARDIS and go on an adventure, not going, do you know what I'm missing, Wigan? Do you know what I'm missing, life on the... Nah, we didn't want them blooming... You see, that was the thing with Belinda. I want to get back. I've got a shift. I want to get back. Oh, get out. I'd drop her off straight away in some stupid planet.
Is this Russell Tovey playing a different version of Doctor Who? I don't mean a real different version of Doctor Who, but sort of, filling in for that bit. Do we think?
Well, there were rumours about his character, weren't there, at one point? Whether that's backed up, I don't know. But as in, an interesting reveal. So look it up if you want to check it out. I won't spoil it here. Whether I don't know if that will come true or not. But
I mean, is Russell writing him as a kind of Doctor Who type character?
I don't know. I mean, again, all I will say about this show, though, guys, is one silver lining to all this. It's gonna get a lot of YouTubers to about 10,000 views. When they're critiquing these episodes, without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to do well.
I mean.
Right.
But I've already seen a far better version of this. It's called Stingray.
Stingray.
Done.
Yeah. Well, I look at that poor little sea devil in the sick bay. It's like, oh, I want some friends. Anyway, so obviously he says he plays Barclay, saving the planet. It was a total joy to make. Yeah, well, of course it should be. It's a great job, isn't it? And he becomes an important figure. Blah blah blah. And just to round off, the source says there is no buzz, though, about this spin-off, end of. And there's a nice another shot for you, John, Sonny, and Jeremy. There you go. There's units looking really powerful and thoughtful and on the game.
Diversity A-team, go!
It looks like it's been taken from that TV program, Benidorm. It's like Benidorm to me. It doesn't. Just looks like a holiday photograph.
Yeah,
I do. That is them rehearsing. It is them rehearsing, going, oh, we're going to Mallorca. Hey.
You should have been titled Unit's Big Day Out. Yeah.
Well, actually, going on what Jeremy's just said, let's face it, they could have said this is Doctor Who, and it's not Benidorm, it's Mallorca. So anyway, what he said was, the BBC are not going to know what the hell this thing's about because they won't know what the Sea Devils are. They won't know what the Silurians are. They won't know because the main show is over and it hasn't been about the Silurians or the Sea Devils. And he had this thread all the way through. He really did. And then he says, I mean, nobody likes the look of it visually. It doesn't really look like anything from Doctor Who. Nobody's excited about the trailers. I've not heard anybody in the industry say anything about this spin-off. I don't think people even know about it. I mean, whoa. Because he tells me you're in meetings sometimes. He doesn't reveal he's a Doctor Who fan because he says you'll get no respect at all. So he just listens on whispers, and if somebody says something, he dives in then and just says, "Why? What's all that?" And he said, "No, this isn't being talked about. There's no discussion." And yet he always tells me the story when Matt Smith, when we hadn't seen him, and Peter Capaldi, when we hadn't seen him, when the backroom staff were saying, "You want to see? Oh my God, it's amazing!" And there was a buzz. No, nothing with this, John. Nothing.
No, I mean it's going to be a fart in the wind, isn't it? This one, it's literally going to be forgotten within about 20 seconds. It's what I call classic Disney Plus filler content. It's there just to fill a slot. It's not overly memorable. It'll be there for a short period of time, then it will just be taken off. There's going to be nothing special about this whatsoever.
But I mean, given the amount of money they probably spent on it, surely the best thing to do is to put it on at a premium time on BBC One or whatever.
I wonder, Jeremy, if
Christmas.
I know, but I wonder, Jeremy, if they're thinking if the ratings for Doctor Who were so bad and it's become toxic that they need to dislocate this from it. Otherwise, it's not got a chance. Because if everyone thinks, "Oh, this is more Doctor Who," So I know what you're saying about schedules, but I think they're actually probably thinking push it back. Remember my other cynical version, though, Jeremy. If they push it into long grass, because as soon as this is broadcast, we'll all say, "Where's season 3? You said you'd tell us an update," and at the moment they're hiding. So I will continue on that one. Let's have a look. So he said, "It's never been mentioned. I brought it up a few times in some of his media meetings in casual conversation and said, oh, and it's just gone over people's heads. They don't even know what it is." So in essence, us Doctor Who fans, we go over the reads and everything. He's been talking, I can't list any further because it'll give too much away, but he's been talking to various channels and he's been in loads of meetings recently. And as he says, he's even brought it up. And everybody looks at him, and I can assume glazed eyes at what? Now, you see, can you imagine if you mentioned White Lotus to media executives and go, "Oh, God, we want something like that," or Dexter, or, you'd list certain shows and people say, "We want that on our channel. Make something like that." The Doctor Who spin-off, nothing.
I think the way to get media heads to listen though and to say, "Oh, this is a good show," I'm not just talking about the war between land and the sea. I would say, right, give someone a modest budget. Don't give them these crazy budgets that they're being given now. Give them a shoestring budget, the equivalent of what Classic Who was getting, and then go and do your spin-off, write it, produce it, come back to us with it, and then if it's a success, people will get into it from there. I think the trouble is there's a mindset in the industry now that it's got to be big budget. It's got to be big budget. I don't think it does. I just think there are lots of examples over the decades where you haven't got a big budget, but it's well written, it's well acted, it's well produced. It gets views.
It's
what have we got?
It's an artificial barrier to entry.
But also, if they've got a small budget, these people can't lord it up. They can't go to Mallorca,
that's part of it.
or they can't go to Mallorca. They can't do this. They can't do that. I mean, they don't want that. They want a big budget. At the end of the day, they feel like they're competing against cinema. They're not competing against cinema.
Now, what I'll say is, Zach Whitten, I know, as I said earlier, some people are saying, "Who is this source?" Now, I'm going to reveal one thing about the source in a minute, about where he will be next month. And I want you to, and then you'll all go, "Oh, okay." So, first of all, because I learned so much, I'm allowed to give this away, he said. All right. So, first and foremost, this source has been amazing and I've really enjoyed it. I think I have an idea on what Doctor Who should be like. It should look a bit like this, maybe. What is it? What do you want? Take this, read it, and meet my boss at the wit's end. seek and locate and destroy the source. He is causing an imbalance in the media. He's giving too much away.
He must be found. Must, you hear?
It must be secured at once.
I have sent many agents to seek and locate the source to the far corners of the globe. Looking, searching. They were the top Hoopet agents. None of them secured the source. And many agents have failed. And failure I do not tolerate. Failure means you are tortured, microwaved, atomized, spun, drawn, and ironed. I do not countenance failure.
Relinquish the source and die!
You still do not know me.
Soon you will know me. Soon.
So, Sophie, it's just a question that everybody's asking. Are you the source?
HP or tomato?
Good question. Now, I teased you. Right, Doctor Who fans, at the ready, the reveal I can say about the source and where he'll be. In November, remember he's a high connected media producer. He's in Cardiff in November. What do you reckon to that? He's in Cardiff. And Cardiff, as he keeps telling me, is a small place. You can't keep a secret in Cardiff when they're making stuff. So everybody who's waffling on about there's actually a secret Christmas special. No, you didn't know about it. There's no way. We had all the leaks this series. We knew what was going to happen. We knew Susan was coming. So basically, park that one. But he's got a meeting. He's got various things going on. He's in Cardiff in November. So if anybody, at least Smith was saying he's going to have to, and Zach Whitten, check every place in Cardiff in November for the whole of November. He's there.
Who is it? Who's there in November? Sorry.
The source.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The source, media. There you go. So I mean, David Harden says it's RTD. Do you think RTD would speak to me? Can you imagine RTD thinking, you've got a crappy puppet of me, you take the mick out of me, you've got Jack, who does a brilliant voice impression of me, taking the mick out of me, and nearly every show last year seemed to be slagging him off. So do you think RTD...
This is classic misdirection from the source, him or her, depending on male or female. They're sending you all to Cardiff. They're going to be in a completely different area of the country. I'd search Newcastle if I were you.
So there you go. So I mean, you wanted a bit of gossip. I mean, I do prize. I can't say too much, but he said, I am there. Gallifrey Starny, it won't change while it remains in Cardiff. And yes, I know. Yeah. But it's got people thinking maybe you can go down there and, just watch Bad Wolf, because I suppose all you're guessing is, right, Bad Wolf. We'll sit there and watch whoever's in the taxis. But they smuggled Jodie Whittaker in, didn't they? That was a big job. And what a great moment. Yeah, she was petrol, wasn't she? Petrol.
Dear me.
Where's
she
the
certainly wasn't 4-star, more like 2-star.
Oh, God. So basically,
I swear that scene made me constipated.
Two of the doctors. I'm going to be kind. Two of the doctors that hadn't really established themselves and hadn't had major impact. And you think you do a scene with them, but that's RTD all over, isn't it? He's going to take Susan away when he's teased her, and instead we get Jodie Whittaker.
You're the best. Right? No, you're the best.
So you're the best.
Been kissing each other.
Oh,
that's the only thing.
So there you go. We've kind of gone around the houses, and that's 2 hours we won't get back. But yes, everybody. Thanks for doing that. I will do a news bite later on. There's plenty of tasty topics coming up. Friday at 1 o'clock, I've got my detox. It's slightly more deluxe. We've tinkered with it. I delayed it last week because I just I wasn't feeling good. So should be 1 o'clock live this week with the detoxes. Obviously, I'll go around the panel now. John, you are. Do you know he's getting like Rachel? When I used to get Rachel on last year, more, and she was like, I'd always joke saying, "How many recordings have you done? How many streams have you done?" And of course, John's getting a bit like this because every time I talk to him, I'll have done some ironing, and he says, "I've done 2 recordings," and you're going, "All right." He's stockpiling. So, John, what's your channel up to?
Thank you. So yeah, Sci-Fi Chronicles. We are doing our episode 2 of season 1 of our Marvel Agents of Shield watch along. Tomorrow night it's going out at about 5 p.m. American time PST. So looking forward to that one. And then got Stargate SG1 live watch along carrying on Sunday evenings. So if you don't have anything Doctor Who related on, pop over and say hello.
So there you go. I mean, he's certainly producing a lot, and there'll be more coming. I know that for a fact. Sonny, your channel and what you're up to?
Yeah, Sunny Waffles, SWP. I do some live streaming. I've been doing these IRL streams, taking walks around my neighborhood, checking out different parts, different errands, talking to chat through that way. But I also grind some video games if I'm not at work. So between that, if you come by my channel, I might be live, might say hi, have a conversation. I chat a lot about Doctor Who, other anime stuff, cartoons, all types of stuff. So yeah, come by, say hello.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and of course, recently we did our season 17 deep dive, and oh god, we had a real good chat about even the cliffhangers in that, and Dudley Simpson freaking out. And of course, as I said, this Friday, we are roasting. I mean, this was the Aussies' idea. It's going to be a roast of the Robots of Death, and of course, they were going. I've had people saying, you can't do that, it's a classic. We're only going to pick on the classics, the Untouchables, but we're going to try and see a different angle and have a lot of cheek about that. And of course, each time now we're going to have something that needs to be put in the zero room and then ejected, Castrovalva style. And they are going to try and convince me that Planet of the Daleks has to be put in the zero room and ejected. I mean, excuse me, there's going to be a fight on Friday. I'm having none of it. And I know
I wouldn't say ejected. It wasn't my favorite. That was Pertwee, right? It wasn't my favorite, but Planet of Daleks, I did fall asleep. I had to stop and take a break when I got to Planet of Daleks. I like Colony in Space was peak. Colony in Space was amazing. Then we got to the planet and I was like, oh.
Sonny, you are in the ejector seat. There you go. That's it. Sonny's been obliterated now. That's the end of it.
Bring on the Cybermen.
So, Planet of the Daleks fans, you better tune in 1 o'clock to assemble next to me, because Dwayne says he's rewatched it so he can get clues. I'm not having it. I like that kettle UFO landing. I did, and I'm sorry. I'm just not having it. And I know the Spyrodons looked as though they were kind of from some glam rock band. Not having it. No, you're not gonna. No.
If he goes for the eyes in the darkness, I'm coming for him. All right.
No, I know. And Joe Grant and John Pertwee covered in polystyrene. No, and that MFI furniture in the TARDIS. Back off.
The TARDIS bed.
Yeah.
So look out for that before I die. I tell you what, we were supposed to be. We were supposed to be live.
About it.
We were live. Yeah. Okay then. And Jeremy, are you doing your own channel? Are you making one on the side? I know you're doing your K9s and you're doing your Cybermen outfit, and you've got your cyber gun there.
I'm very busy at the moment because I've got to do the Cyberman suit, and I've got the gun here. So you can see it there.
Oh, it's awesome.
So if you're not good, I'm coming round the gun.
he's like
be good, everybody.
Can you imagine him as an alternative Father Christmas going round saying, if you misbehave, forget about Christmas presents, I'll cyber. Yeah. I mean, whoa. And all the kids have got a bit of gold going, shut up, Grandad.
Yeah.
Bow and arrow, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody, and as Garbage has been saying, thanks to the thread's been on fire. These are kind of wilderness years already, aren't they? And The
Yeah.
news that I'm finding, I know there's sometimes news, but the source keeps delivering. There's plenty more to come, and some of them are your questions thread. So keep an eye out for that. Get those notifications on. Give us a blooming sub. Every time I do a show recently, I lose a sub. What the hell's going on? Some cheeky devil. Why? So thanks, lot. Thank you, John. I think we're doing Friday. We might have an eye on that one. Look out for a live show Friday. Look out for 2 live shows Friday. I mean, what am I doing? Sonny, look out for Sonny's channel. Garbage Who, give him a sub. And of course, don't give Jeremy anything because he's just going to threaten you with a cyber gun. And who does he think he is? His best friend's K9. I mean, tell me about it. Good night.
See ya. Bye. Ta-ta.